everyone. So my career profile that I decided to choose was a mediator for families, and I decided to do this mostly because I have some family members that are going through mediation right now, and I think it's a really interesting topic. It was kind of a hard career to look at because there's just a lot that goes into it. But looking at, there's a lot of trainings that you have to go through to become a mediator, and a lot of it actually, which I was surprised, comes from lawyers and retired judges. However, you can get into the career by going to school for it and then just doing trainings afterwards, but it's also really difficult to get into without any experience. So just a couple of things that were interesting to me is that there's all types of mediation. So there's mediation for families and divorce. There's mediation for families going through financial situations, if parents die or something like that. There's mediation for employees, for workplaces, and it's just kind of, they're just there to find common ground. There's obviously so many different opinions, and so they're there to help out in that aspect. The normal salary for a mediator, the starting salary is $57,180 in a year, and then for an experienced salary range, it's $75,630. So I thought those were all really interesting. I'm trying to think. I found this interview with this guy that does this for a living. He was a lawyer, and then he decided to get into the field when it was really, really new. So they did this little interview, and one of the things that he said that I thought was really interesting was, he said, make sure you have a passion for this work. While it's extremely gratifying, it can be emotionally draining. The commitment must be there. I thought that was really interesting because from talking with my cousins who are actually in high school, their family goes to a mediator because their parents can't agree. They're going through a divorce, and they can't agree on parenting and custody and all that type of stuff. She told me that it's so intense for these mediators sometimes because if the parent is just constantly fighting, both parents are just constantly fighting, then it can be really emotionally draining. So that was really interesting that they say, and he talked about how amazing the work was because you're able to help people, and you're able to kind of bring that peace to a family that might not have been there or would have just stayed with all this tension and contention and all of that stuff. And so I thought that was really interesting. And then there's all these different conferences and seminars and all kinds of things to keep going with the mediator process. I live in Colorado Springs, and so I found a local place called Phoenix Strategies, and they not only have mediation services, but they also have trainings, and all of their reviews, they have the best reviews out of anybody in my area. And a lot of their reviews just talk about how amazing the program is and how helpful the women that own it, their names are Monica and Jan, and how amazing that their seminars and conferences and how helpful they are to people. And a lot of actually a lot of counselors and psychologists have taken their seminars that have it written on their website and talked about how beneficial they were to even doing their job. So that was really interesting because the mediator is not only somebody that has to kind of keep the peace, but they're also there to help and to show people almost kind of like a better way of handling situations. So I did think it was really interesting. They did talk about how in the interview that I read, it talked about how hard it is to get into this because there's so many mediators and not enough cases. but that was in California, so I don't really know what the statistics are for Colorado because they haven't been done, which I thought was really interesting. Um, and that the job task can just be kind of exhausting also, that it's, you're there once you start a mediation session, you're kind of there until it gets resolved or until you make another plan, but until you realize it can't be resolved in one lesson. I'm not really sure, but so yeah, so that's what I decided to do, and I thought it was really interesting, and I really enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you.